Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Gordon Matson, and I'm a half-blind YouTuber born and raised and bred in the city of Buffalo, New York. And I'm here today to tell you my story of why I'm on YouTube, how I got into this life, and how everything came about. So if you wouldn't mind sitting around here for about a good hour and a half, I wouldn't mind telling you of how I'm here, well, how I got here, and why I'm here today, and what caused me to be here today, and how I got into pro wrestling and WWE as a whole, and why I enjoy it so much. Okay, now let me just start by saying this. Let me see. The music might be a little distracting. Let me. Okay, now as I was saying, how I got into this entire thing. Okay, now these are two entirely different stories. Pro wrestling. Well, I'm not just gonna WWE. Pro wrestling came later in life because I've learned with having friends who only like WWE because they know how to tell well written stories and everything, which is just a rarity for them today. But we'll get into that. I I basically, I mean, I was okay. So I grew up in a house with a grandmother who was a Jehovah's Witness, and I mean, rest in peace, grandma and grandpa. But yeah, that's not easy because there are a lot of things that other children they'll say, but they'll say other children get, but we don't. Excuse me, we don't because we don't believe in those things. Like uh, Christmas, my grandma wasn't a firm believer in Christmas. Never a Christmas tree in our house a goddamn day in my life until I was like 9 years old. In the house that I lived in, particularly, I've seen Christmas trees. I had family members that use Christmas trees, but no. What do you call it? But there were certain things we didn't like. We even didn't celebrate birthdays. It was just another day, like happy birthday. Hope you enjoy your day. Live it like any other day. You just turned another day older, and more responsibilities come into it. Now, along with that, how this tunes and how this connects to wrestling. Um, I basically, I basically started watching wrestling with my brother because he watched it. I'm like, oh, what's this? People are beating each other up. Ooh, because I was one of those kids, obviously, who was in at the time Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and just also the fighting cartoon stuff. But to see real people doing it, it wasn't boxing, and they were just standing around taking jabs. And because I'm like half blind in one eye, it's like, is it hitting? Did he block that? Like obviously, you'll know ones is just ooh, but wait, he didn't. It didn't hurt him. He's still standing there. Like boxing is one of those you have to watch where it's just like it's slow, boring for him. It's like one of those buried sports that comes from underground and just makes an appearance here and there when our four there fights. But he already fought and he's retired and he may think about coming get a retirement. That's a whole other story, whole other time. I don't really care. And we're gonna get back to what I was talking about here. But my grandma one time caught me and my brother watching wrestling, and this is where she would just continue to just like she would beat us. Like, no, you're not allowed to watch this stuff. Like, come on, dude. Like, I don't. This isn't good. But we continue to do it over the years, and this is gonna sound so wrong, but like as my grandma got older, like she stopped being able to find out that we were doing it unless we said something about it, and that was just something where it's just like, yeah, but that's mainly where that comes from, and I mean another thing would be from the ages of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it just continued to grow. The passion, and love, and liking, and likeness for it continued to grow, and then they say, oh, when you're older, you'll grow out of it. Like it's just not a thing that it's not a thing that ever happened to me. It was never a thing I had to worry about. Like it was never legitimately a thing I ever had to really worry about. I was never really concerned about. It was never really a thing that like, I always had love for. There was just one point in time where it was dangerously falling out of favor with me. I think I was about maybe 16 or 15. No, I wasn't 16. That would have been 3 years ago. No, about uh, okay. So we all remember the night that CM Punk, and I know I'm going to be jumping around here a little bit, and I'm sorry, but we'll get to one central point in a second. The point where CM Punk cut the pipe bomb, and the weeks leading up to that, I'd have been slowing down around that summer, and I'm just thinking here, I'm so bored with this. Like, we're going through the CNN Rock stuff, we're going through the R Truth stuff, where he was getting his push. around then is when I just started just okay, this is a little too much. And I didn't even know what a push was or anything about that. Like I didn't even know what the smart life was until I didn't even know like being smart to the business until I was about 15, maybe 16. No, yeah, about 15 years old actually. So that's when I eventually learned that. But I mean, this is what I have to say here. I don't even know where I was leading this to, but yeah, being smart to the business. But like, yeah, that's when, yeah, I was talking about being, when I was losing slight interest before the pipe bomb even hit, and then Punk started talking about all these real things, and then the Punk Cena program drew me back in completely. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting to me again. Because like, I was starting to like miss Raws consecutive weeks in a row, where it's like missing Raw is an unwritten religion to me. Like no matter what, I had to watch Raw every single week, no matter what. If it was 85 degrees outside and there was raining money outside, I had to watch Raw and then go get the money after that. And as stupid as that sounds, that's how dedicated I was back then. And you just think every week is good no matter what happens. Like, oh, your favorite superstar didn't come out on top. Oh, this didn't happen the way you wanted it to. Oh, well, just wait till next week and see if they do come out on top or if something interesting does happen with that person in that regard. But, what was I saying? Yeah, moving back to a little further in my youth. Growing up in life, I had a few favorites. The Hardys came to mind as one. And note, do not let anybody extreme to any kids. And I don't have any kids that are. Well, I may have a few that are on this channel. Do not let wrestlers grow to be your number one role models. Oh, excuse me, because if you see them do crazy stuff on TV like RVD, the Hardys, and etc., it's not going to help you in the long run. I sprained ribs at 9 years old jumping through a built a cardboard, not a cardboard, a built dresser. Like when someone will throw a dress out because they figure it's not any good anymore and it's really stable. Yeah, me and my friend use that as like we use that to jump through it. We would like little kids steal chairs. We would use those and jump off of those like we were Sabu and RVD. Like we would do the stupidest stuff. Looking back, like there was this okay, and there was even a gate. Like this is the imitation portion of my fandom as a wrestling as a child. We would climb the little gate and then like as you got down to the top of the gate, there was a roof there, and it wasn't even that far of them. It wasn't even that far. You climb up, roof is right there. You're on top of the roof. We would climb that roof and jump off on each other. Like the amounts of stupid things that we did were just insane. And this is just like we believe in it. It's real. It's real to us. This is why. Like, oh, they can obviously do it and show up the next week and be walking. I can do it and then be completely fine the next day. Like, oh god. And then my friend Gio at the one point who I was doing these things with, he so one day I wasn't around and he tried wrestling with somebody and he climbed into a goddamn and he really this man really thought he was Sabu. My man really climbed into a tree and started diving out on someone. He hit the person, but he bounced off the ground and broke his ribs. Like, dude's in fucking insane. Like, gee, calm down, bro. Like, you know what, man? But that was another portion of the fan. Okay, but I mean, and this is what I'm gonna explain. Like, for those who are wondering, like, how does this translate to YouTube? Like, I love pro wrestling so much. Like, I started seeing, like, I knew what the people who reviewed it were like. Oh, like, I didn't know what they were talking about. They were talking about like character and all that stuff. Like, you see it, like, you're a little kid, you see these things, and you just want to know, like when you can't order the pay per views, like who won, like you can't order the pay per views, like who won this, who won that, what happened here, what happened there, just I don't know, but you see these things, and it just makes you wonder. But I just thought those people were wasting my time. I just used them to really figure out what the results were. I didn't really care what they had to say. And then a couple of years later in my life, like when I really started to get older, and I get past like all the really like fanboy stuff. We get to let's say 2013. 2013 really went downhill. Yeah, 2013 is when it all really went downhill for me because it was my freshman year of high school. Yeah, freshman year of high school was just sucked. Well, yeah, my life just sucked at that point. So let me dig deep into explaining that because I had been in a situation where I had a schizophrenic guardian who basically, you know, always had some kind of thing that was like, oh, you're trying to conspire against me, you're trying to kill me, you're trying to take me out, blah 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 blah. Oh, you're just the most horrible child ever. You're a demon and all this crap. Like she went to church, but yet you can hear her muttering the craziest things under her breath, like God told me to kill you. The devil is an idiot. God told me I have every right to kill you, and I'll still get into heaven and be God's favorite child. Like, what the fuck are you saying, dude? Like, what? Like, just the craziest types of shit, dude. And it's just these things like this are reason enough to say I'm atheist, dude. I just not atheist. I just don't believe in anything. I don't believe in anything because atheism is still a form of religion. You still think there's a higher power out there. I just don't, like, dude. If I die, wherever I go, I'm sorry. If I die, wherever I go, wherever I go, dude. Like that's just how it is. That's just how it's gonna be. Like that's how I feel about it. And I have every right to feel that way too. I mean, no one ever said I didn't, but still, I'm just gonna put it out there. I have every right to feel that way. But yeah, man, man, I just got this to say. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, that situation was never good for me, and I can tell you guys everything that went down in that situation, and how wrestling at the end of the day was still there to keep me sane. Like I would come home from school, and like we would have no cable. We would have no cable. I would come home from school, and my only thing would do like because okay, it's hard to explain. Like when you come into there was a school across the street from us. It was a elementary school, and like in my house, behind the front door, like across the street from the school, like behind. Okay, let's just say I walk in, right here, and this is the door that I just closed. Behind this door are some stairs. I would plop down every day on the stairs with the school laptop I was given because, being partially blind. They're like, oh, we don't want you to struggle and strain your eyes to write, so you can just type, which was just the biggest benefit ever. And I mean, I would take the school laptop home with me every day because I'd have nothing to do. Sit on those stairs and log into the school Wi-Fi across the street and cipher it. And like it was easy to get into too. And I had this much of a bar, and it was enough to stream pay-per-views, like to stream pay-per-views, like illegally watch them and everything. It was enough to do that. It was enough to use Twitter. It was enough to use Facebook. I had multiple tabs open on three different internet on Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Chrome all at once, and I got away with doing all of that shit off of just one little tiny little fucking tab of school internet, dude. Like that is boggling of the mind to me that I was able to do all of that stuff. And all I would do during that time is sit there and watch independent wrestling matches and everything, and watch sometimes here and there my sports, because obviously no cable at that moment, and shit like that. And it's just like we have nothing. We like, and the thing was the money was there to get cable, just no one ever really wanted to. And they're like, this the craziest thing happened. Go ahead. Like when we actually do get cable, this is insane to me. That we get cable and we didn't have to pay for it. But yet again, then because I was always up all night long on my computer because I couldn't sleep and I had sleeping issues at the very moment. I I'll admit I was kind of loud. I was loud, and I'm sitting on stairs, and everyone else sleeps upstairs, and there's an echo through the hallway that you walk up the stairs. Like not the hallway, but you walk up the stairs. There's like a big, like the ceiling is a little wider, and you can kind of hear echo through there. So I was kind of loud watching streams and everything, and wrestling matches. Like, oh my god, everything just marking the hell out to certain moments, and just popping for certain things. It's just, I'll admit, I was loud, and even like of my favorite YouTubers when they would stream. Like I just go back and watch their streams from back in the day, like not back in the day, but like earlier in the day because I was tired and everything. Like there were wrestling YouTubers themselves, like guys like Tubby Emu, CM Pulse, here and there, Tony Pizza Guy, just guys like that. And I've always said at one point in my like one point watching, I'm like, wow, this seems cool. Like they get to go to 2K studios and everything here and there, and they get to uh, they get to basically, get to go on all these trips and get these huge fan bases talking about and doing stuff, well, and making gaming content of stuff that they do and that they've loved for all this time. I would love to have a fan base as big as that one day. I would love to have a following as big as that someday. So maybe I could actually get my own money and I can actually get out of here because, unbeknownst to you guys, that you guys didn't know this, I was never getting fed at home, and if I did, there were very small portions. Like here, take this one hamburger, and just think about it. You eat at school, you eat breakfast and lunch at school, and then you come home, and then you have to wait until dinner is cooked. If dinner is cooked, if not, stay out of the kitchen. Oh well, you're not eating for the night. That was my day. That was what I went through when I was like, and it's crazy. CPS was called 3 times and nothing was done. And I think if CPS would have been called the 4th time, I wasn't even 18 yet. I was like, this happened to me in between the ages of 16 and 17, and I mean, I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna put me in placement. Like, okay, this is not a sufficient home for you. If you don't have another relative who would have taken you in, and I don't even think my aunt would have taken me in at this point, at that point, because she didn't think it was that bad for one, probably, and two, I mean, let's put it this way. My cousin and well, my 2 cousins and their mother was living here already, and they were basically, they were living here already, and I don't think there was any more room for me because uh, the old couches down here. As you guys have taken the tour around this house before. I've shown the video. The one couch is across from me right there, and then the one couch over in the other room. Oh wait, let me put the camera back on. The one couch across from me over there, and then the one diagonally across from me over on the other side of the house. Those were taken up, and then there was a bedroom upstairs taken up. And then my cousin has his room, obviously. And I wasn't going to sleep on the floor with him in his room because, he has his privacy, and he didn't want me his privacy. And then I don't think my aunt would even be comfortable. And she wasn't even, when we had to move in here for the short little time that we did, I don't even think she'd be comfortable with me sleeping on the floor. That was anything wrong with it. I mean, there would have been arrangements made if it ever needed to happen. I mean, that's even going to placement or something, but she's not comfortable with it, and she wouldn't feel right about it. And like, this is the shitty life I lived. Like, I was, dude. Like, you know how you guys, see that I'm buying wrestling T-shirts, like this one that I, bought offline, from now a couple of my favorite YouTubers who I just can't stop watching their content. Yeah, Nizzle, because he's the father, and then I can turn it all the way around to show the damn it part. Yeah, because he's the father, and it's a representation of John, well, and Kevin Owens, everything like that, like stuff like that. I can do all that because I have financial security now and everything. So there's that, and um, that's the best way to put it. Like I get, I was getting exercise for years because of my visual impairment in one of my eyes. Like I said before, I'm half blind on one eye, and I get exercise because I get over $1,000 for it, and well, 2,000 actually because of it. And I was never getting. I was actually. I was never getting a penny would be an absolute lie. But I got $5 a month and was told you better buy yourself clothes and snacks and deodorant with all of that money. Like that's what you better do with this money, or else like you're out of luck for the month. Like, dude, I'm not even kidding you. Like my schizophrenic guardian at that point was just so out of it at the point where she was just like telling me I had to do these things with $5 freaking. This was insane to me. Like I just it was like I said, it was boggling of the mind to me. Like I just couldn't, dude. Like, but you know what? Here's my full-fledged start on it. Like, she had 2 other daughters in the house. Okay, my schizophrenic parent had 2 other daughters in the house, and anytime they asked for something like money for marijuana, they would get it. Anytime they ask for, like, the only thing I could ask for that, like, after the $5, like, oh, you got $1? You got a quarter so I can go down the street and get a freezy from the store because I want something in this house that isn't water. And if I go in the court, if I go in the kitchen, I'm gonna probably get decapitated. Like I will lose my head off of these things that I call my shoulders. Like it was just insane. Like the home life I lived was back then was just insane. And not to say that I'm financially secure. I can buy all the hoodies, I can buy all the shirts and everything that I want and everything, and I don't have to work for the rest of my life if I don't really want to, although I can. It's just it's a big relief to me to know that I don't have to live the life that I used to have to live. But um, I'm gonna go back to the whole YouTubers thing because like when I used to go back and watch those guys, it's just like when I was smart to the business and everything, and how wrestling would really help me out. Let me get to the, actually, I'll take it one step at a time. How the wrestling really helped me. The wrestling was key, and if you guys are watching and if you guys are watching this, and you want to comment, go ahead, please. I encourage it. But what was I saying? The wrestling specifically really helped because, say, like I said before, like we had no cable and everything. I would go to a community center called the Peter Magnica Community Center, and it would be on Clinton Street. Probably about driving distance, about a good 20 minutes away from here, 15 minutes away from here. And I would go there and hang out with the guys who worked there every day, and some of my friends who were there because it's. I would go home, drop my book bag off, and then just go there and just get lost in the rest of the day with all my friends because at home is just miserable with my schizophrenic guardian, and it's foster care stuff. So the technical term, I called her aunt sometimes. I guess I can just call her my aunt. But I would go there, hang out with them, and then when 8 o'clock hit, I would be the first one in one of the rooms, either the recreation room or the office that they were in, and tell them, guys, time for Raw, because they would sit there and watch Raw with me on a weekly basis because I enjoyed it so much and I really loved it. And it was 2013, early 2014, back in the days of the Shield, and these were fun times. And then like 9 o'clock, I would usually have to leave because that would be the bus I have to take because they close at 10, and sometimes they would leave before 10, and they would want me standing outside in the cold, you know, at before 10 o'clock waiting for my bus. So they would tell me, okay, you gotta go, dude. You gotta go, and I'd go home, and like I said, how I had the laptop and had to sit outside across the street from the school and set for that internet, I would do that in 15-degree weather just to watch the final segment of a Raw and Seattle go nuts for Daniel Bryan and completely shut up Triple H and Stephanie and tell them what they really wanted, and then the whole brawl that broke down at the end of Raw. But yeah, but here's the thing. These are the things I would do to become a wrestling fan. Like not to become a wrestling fan, to just watch Monday Night Raw, to watch wrestling because it was one of the very few bright spots in my life. Like I said, I wasn't bought clothes. I wasn't like there wasn't much that was done for me. Like I couldn't do much. Like these are literally people. I shit you not. The only few things I had to my name in my life were that laptop, which was temporary, and I had to get back when I graduated. The laptop, yeah, the laptop. My bus pass, and the very few clothes I owned. That's all I had in my life. That's all I had in my name. Nothing else in that house was mine. Like I didn't own anything. Like and it was insane. Like no, Gordon, you don't own a thing, dude. Like no, it's just no. So I mean, all I had was a laptop, and and this is crazy because what was it? WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan's huge moment. I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm watching WrestleMania. Well, I was trying to watch. Okay, it's best explained this way. It's best explained this way. Um, I'm trying to watch WrestleMania 30. Well, before WrestleMania 30 happens, I one morning went downstairs and seen cupcakes that were sitting on the table. And normally they had their food because they never fed me, and they fed me dinner, and that was really my bad. And they were like, yeah, you have to eat at home, but you don't. they never tell you how much you have to eat. Like I'm telling you, that's really what I was told at one point. And I see these cupcakes downstairs and I'm like, ooh, cupcakes. I eat those, get home from school, and then I get yelled at immediately as I walk in the door. Why the fuck did you eat my cupcakes? And it's like, oh, those were yours. Like one of my sisters, like, why the fuck did you eat my cupcakes? And it's just like I barely get to eat around her anyway. Like that morning, I made myself a complete, well, kind of a complete breakfast. I had the cupcakes, and there was like the cheese was in the fridge, and there was bread downstairs because all that stowed that away too. Like they stowed the cheese and the bread away. And I made myself a grilled freaking cheese, ate, went to school, and I was actually in a decent mood for the day. Like even teachers and everything could tell, like, oh, he's not very happy. Like I would go, like I love gym class. I would go on the floor and I'd sleep on the ground in a corner in gym class, and just like tell the gym teacher, last period of the day, please leave me alone. And he would listen. And Mr. Hudecki, my gym teacher, was like one of those people who's like a prick. If he felt like you wouldn't, like you had to do something, he would make you do it, or else he'd get you suspended because of it. I shit you not. Like this guy, to know that Hudecki was understanding of my situation, I appreciate that. What do you call it? Am I really fucking missing anything here before I get into the YouTube stuff of it? Oh yeah, but the cupcakes that day. The cupcakes. After I ate those, I went and stowed my book bag in my room, and it had the laptop in it. And when I went to one of the other community centers that I went to two of them, split between two little mini portions of Buffalo out here, South Buffalo and Kaisertown. When I went to South Buffalo that one day, I came home, I looked around my house with my laptop, and then I realized I asked my sister, "Have you seen my laptop?" And then she's like, "Oh," she's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "I came in here late in bed," and then she said, like it was deep in the back of my closet. She's like, "I put it back here so the cat wouldn't do anything." Because we had actually not the cats. We had like 6 or 7 cats because my sister was a crazy cat lady, and she would dig through the back of my closet, find the book bag, and then put the laptop on the bed. I would dig it out. She would go in the room, lock the door, and then I would find the laptop and 30,000, well not 30,000, the motherboard and everything was still assembled with it, well barely. Like the shape of the laptop and the form of it was still together. The keys were all out of it. The screen was almost busted out of it. The the sides of it were broken, chopped down. Like, and I remember there was a baseball bat in the corner of my room. I'm like, she did not just use the bat to break my laptop. Literally 4 days before WrestleMania. Like that's in like no, why? So I ended up watching WrestleMania with my friend at that one point. I also had no source of entertainment, and like going home on a daily basis was just hell for me. There was a like, and like they wouldn't even buy me. I didn't have a. Oh my god, hold on. I didn't even have a cell phone in my name. This at one point would have been. This was a dream to me. A cell phone was a dream. Like I was given a flip phone every weekend by a teacher, and told, "Here, there are 3,000 minutes. Do what you may. Survive as you will. Talk to who you want to. Just make sure at the end of the weekend I get the phone back, and so you can have it next weekend, and I can restock it with minutes for you." These are things that were done for me. But you know what? This is this is a part of the life story, my story. So, um, as we move on here through it, we pass WrestleMania 30. I get the laptop back, and then I start seeing, this one guy, and this is probably before then too. He was doing this, but this is just like the one period where it really started kicking me in. Like I'm like, oh, I'm really starting to love this content. CM Pulse, because Tubby Emo at one point was always my number one wrestling YouTuber. I didn't watch any of the guys in the YWC or anything like that. Like I never watched those guys because, like, from what I see, like they were just a bunch of crying, whining, complaining babies. Like guys, like, oh, like wrestling Jesus, Sean's View Entertainment, all that crap. All they do is cry and complain to each other and bitch and moan about the product and make up fake rumors and talk shit to each other and smart busters, blah blah blah, like stuff like that. Guys like that. Just like I want to know part of it. But the gaming wrestling community, like Tubby Emu, CM Pulse, all that crap, Tony Pizza Guy, like I mentioned them before, they seem like the guys that I wanted to be involved with in my life. And, the guys like to be cool. Breezy Flash, Smalls, YT. If anybody knows Smalls, Alex, I don't personally know him. I don't really talk. No, I'm not really said to Smalls on Twitter because uh, I don't even know if I'm really allowed to say this, but you know what? I'll say it this way. Smalls may or may not have created the best for business storyline because him and one of the guys, CM Pulse, were sitting in, well, may or may not have been sitting in a restaurant just messing around going, yeah, this is best for business. I want this and I want this because it's best for business. And then apparently he was, Smalls was approached and had to sign some shit that said he couldn't talk about it contractually again or something like that. I don't know the full details of it. I don't know how the story completely went. I'm technically not even allowed to know as much as I'm not even going to say technically not even allowed to know as much as I do, but Smalls had to sign something stating that he had nothing to do with best for business at all. And Triple H just ran with that. So, you know what? It is what it is. Whether that be true or not, whatever, dude. But those are the kind of guys I wanted to be involved with, and that's the kind of thing I wanted to be involved with. Like, I just wanted to have fun and talk about wrestling, stream, and create an audience that everyone, well, create an audience for myself. And at the moment, I only have 74 subscribers, so I mean, I'm doing decent. I mean, this thing could have totally flopped on me, and I could still have like 10 subscribers at this point. And to know that my channel has slowly continued to build itself, this is awesome to me. But you know what? Where are we? CM Pulse, and this is huge. This is huge because like on the days that like we had cable back and everything, I was so I guess like mentally shot and depressed from some of the stuff that had gone on in my life at one point, where I just came home sometimes, laid down and like just went to sleep, and didn't even mean to like sleep through Raw or anything. Sometimes I come home from the community center on Monday nights and just go in my room and there was a TV in there, and go in my room and then I'd see Raw. And then I can remember the one period where it was always Sheamus versus Christian. Sheamus versus Christian 1 week regular match. Sheamus versus Christian 1 week Brooklyn street fight. Sheamus versus Christian next week in like the hardcore match. One of those matches, Christian got bro kicked through a drum. But yeah, that was another thing that happened. Um, fuck. Yeah, but those are the series of matches I remember. Like I'd always fall asleep on Raw at that point from about. I'd always fall asleep on Raw from what time would it be? 9:50 at night, and then I wake up at 2 in the morning. No, 10 o'clock at night, and I wake up at 2. No, I'm sorry. 9:30, 10, 11, 12. I'd always go to sleep till 12 or until 2, and then I'd wake up, go like, fuck, I missed Raw. I have to go back and then watch it on the old wrestling site I used to use. It's WASports.net, and it's now dead, so that's not really getting anybody in trouble to use it. But I'd always do that because I'd miss it. And, like, was wrestling and sports, but mainly wrestling because I knew it was the NHL playoffs at that time in hockey, so I really knew I couldn't rely on a team specifically or my team to get me out of, a funk or whatever. Like, oh, that's nice. But I did have friends to attend. Like, I had mainly 2 friends that I hung out with. My one friend, Dayton, and then for anybody who watches my Lucha Underground stuff, if you heard my live reactions to Aztec Warfare, the Villas is the other one who was with me. Mainly those 2 I hung out with at the time. And then I have another friend named Malik, but me and Malik never really get to hang out that much until actually later that summer. But that's another thing. That has anything to do with this. But I kept saying, at some point, whenever I get a phone, man, I want to do reviews. I just review off the phone, man. Like my hopes were so high. And like, here's my thing. I was getting a job through the what do you call it? Through the commission of the blind, and they were gonna help me get a job, and they were giving me a manufacturing job within the Olmsted Center for Sight here in Buffalo, New York. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And like, it seemed like, oh, it was a lot of work. No, I really got paid to put together keychains and boxes with gloves in them. And look, I had to construct the box from I was given the plastic material for the box, and this is just a bag, and I don't even know what kind of bag this is. It's a Yankee Candle. I don't know. It was a candle bag, I guess. That was just sitting here. But I was given that. Well, you guys know what I mean, like the foundation to build it. And I built the boxes, I built the keychains, and then within 3 or 4 weeks actually, because you always get your first week skipped, and that never counts apparently when you're working a job. I had that skipped, and I got my first paycheck and bought a Android ZTE Prelude. It was a really extremely small, dinky garbage phone that I eventually just broke like 2 weeks ago because I've had this for a year, and yeah. But I was reviewing things, especially Raws and pay reviews and everything, first off of that phone. My first review you'll ever find on this channel, if you go back down, I made a no Roman no video before anybody really like before the I hate Roman Reigns thing was really kicked into high gear. I made a video like no Roman no. It was something about Cena being rumored to not be on Raw the next night after Battleground, and the next possible option that WWE may have to win the championship and already is Roman. So I made that, and it's just like whatever. And I made a Battleground review. Like all my reviews from the start, I mean, they all have valid opinions in them, but you can just sense the desperation of I want to be noticed, and I'm trying too hard, and I'm doing too much, and I'm trying to do too much in one squeeze out little video that I could produce on the phone. Because I used to make my raw reviews in parts, part one, part two, part three, and part four. Because in all realistically speaking, those reviews plus phone upload time took forever. I would start at whatever time Raw went up the air between 11:15 and 11:10 and 11:05. I'd start right after that and like realistically get started, and then one part would take 30 minutes to upload, another part would take 30 minutes. Like I wouldn't be done, and plus my phone was running short on storage because like that phone had no kind of storage room whatsoever. It was just it was horrible. Like and I would like because you know how dark I am, my complexion, and everything. I would be filming these things in a bathroom, like it was ridiculous. Like I would be filming my reviews in the bathroom because I wanted you guys to be able to see my face, and I just looked at that slow kid on YouTube like, you guys hear my opinion? Justice 6 rate case, yeah. Like I didn't want to be. I wanted to. I wanted to seem somewhat legit, but I realized at some point I can't seem legit on a phone. And then I like me, my aunt, my schizophrenic aunt, and my two sisters got kicked out of the house because my aunt got robbed with the landlord, and then she was told when like I came in the house one day, and then she told me I was told you have 4 days to pack your stuff. We're moving. Where are we going? And then I was told, oh, you're going to live with your aunt, like where I am here. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I'm like, fine, I'm cool with that. I'm like, I can move my stuff and everything. I'm like, but wait, where's everybody else gonna be? Like, they're gonna be there with you. I'm like, oh, great. So my one sister decides, no, I don't want to be there with all you guys. So she basically decides, I'm getting out of here. And she goes to live with her friend. And it's just, okay. She goes to live with her friend, though. And it's like, all right, you go do that. We're fine. But, yeah, it's like, you go live with your friend. Cool, dude. See ya. But, I remember, and I know like, if I even have the DM still, I'd be happy if I did. But, I'll even say this. I'll get back to the whole subject of moving here in a second, but it just hit me. I did tweet CM Pulse when I did my first ever review because like his reviews were awesome to me. Like I loved the whole theme of his thing, like how he did everything in his reviews, and his reviews were like anything he did was gospel to me. Like Pulse was my goddamn idol at that point, man. So if I can find this, I will show you guys if it's here still. Um, fuck. I hope it's here. Blah blah blah. Ah, here it is. Okay, so I tweeted Pulse and told him, "Hey man, you know how I love your reviews and everything," and I would tweet him every week about how I wanted to do it. And I'm like, "Hey man, um, I I just did my first ever review, and I want to see what you think of it. Can you please watch it?" And honestly, thinking I would get no kind of response from it, I just thought he'd be like, "Whatever, dude. Like, fuck this kid." Like, he, I thought that's how he'd be about it, and he wasn't. So if you guys can see it, this is what he did say to me directly. So he definitely did intend on watching it. He basically said it was on private because I didn't know and I had left it up on private for like 4 hours. So I'm like, oh, no one had already seen it, and it sucked because I tried to just make it in one lengthy video, 1 20-minute video, and my phone wouldn't do that, so I had to make like a 12-minute review. And I threw my opinion out there on everything, and it was yeah. I showed him the video. He did intend on watching it and said it was private, and then I did eventually tweet him and tell him it's not private anymore. Don't know if he ever watched it. Don't know if he ever finished it. Don't even know if he did. But at the same time, it's just like to know that he even cared to DM me to tell me whether he was lying or not. But oh, dude, your video's on private. Make it non-private so I can watch it. Meant the world to me. It really did. And there are times on Twitter nowadays I'll talk to Paul or anything and just we'll talk things out and everything. It's just yeah. But I got into YouTube because of guys like Teddy and CM Pulse and everything, how my crappy life was going and everything, and just it really helped me out, man. Like I really appreciate it. Like, and I probably did shorten the story up like way shorter than it probably should have been, and slip some of the stuff that happened within school and life and everything. And just I cut it down to what really mattered and how it translated to wrestling. And I mean, and how I started reviewing things. And then not a couple years ago, about a year, almost a year ago, I got this sexy, if you guys can even see it, PS4. But yeah, I got the PS4, and that was awesome too. But you know what? I started playing games on it and everything, and I want to do more, but I have two channels that me and my friend Matt are working on. Mostly me at this moment, Matt, you bastard. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm about to start posting wrestling videos back on my micro and everything back on my channel, and log out of the hockey channel on PlayStation 4. But you know what? At some point I have to buy a capture card because I can't just live stream everything. Because if you really look at it, all my content is live stream, and it can't be that. But you know what? I do appreciate you guys for watching. So remember to leave a like on this video if you already haven't. Subscribe if you're not subscribed for more of that wrestling goodness on my channel. And I thank you guys for listening to my story. I really appreciate it. For those who disagree, I know there are people here watching. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Remember to leave a like on this video if you haven't. Subscribe if you're not subscribed for more of that. Like I said, goodness on my channel, not wrestling goodness on my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching. And like I said, my inspirations. Remember to subscribe to Tubby Emu. His YouTube page is Teaming Tubby Emu, and that's here on YouTube. And subscribe to CM Pulse at CM Pulse PULS3, not E. CMPULS3. And the last one would be Tony Pizza Guy at Tony Pizza Guy. That's all together. Not at, but I'm sorry, Tony Pizza Guy. Those guys are all here on YouTube, and they're probably and strictly in the WWE community, along with Dank Ops. But he wasn't one of my originals. They're probably the three biggest wrestling content creators within, that are here today. But that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Once again, I do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. See you.